Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator news and updates. We've got some awesome information coming out of House PMDG, including the 747, as well as some updates to the 777 and more information on the 777 freighter, as well as a bunch of others. We have a ton of stuff to go over, guys, so I'll try to make this as short and sweet. So let's get to it. If you are interested in acquiring any of my overkills tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, or simply interested in supporting the channel, please consider joining us on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future releases that come down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below.
Overkill simulations, watch us as we fly. Overkill simulations, the thrill will never die.
All right, so first off, let's get talking about the 777-300ER that was recently updated. A new update was dropped for the PMDG 777, and this has been aimed at stability, performance, as well as a bunch of other areas. There are new QR codes within inside of the aircraft documentation that get you to the manuals, so that's extremely helpful. The thing that I really liked about this, though, was that if you are not a user of the PMDG aircraft, you usually have to update their nav data individually. Navigraph has an application that allows you to do that, but PMDG went a little above and beyond with this one, and you can now update your nav data from Navigraph. Again, make sure that you have a Navigraph subscription or this doesn't count. But if you have the Navigraph subscription and you have the PMDG, you can now do it directly from the Universal Flight tablet. So that helps out a lot because the PMDG aircraft is really the only one anymore that I ever have to go in and update the nav data. Second, an update on the PMDG 777 freighter. The freighter, the only information that we've really got to is that it is in the process of getting to beta. So we're not in beta yet, but it sounds like it is very, very close. They're looking for a beta date, which Robert Randazzo has said that they anticipate will be quote unquote a pretty quick process. So that will be nice. I will give PMDG this. They are usually very good about once an aircraft hits beta, it's usually only a couple weeks before it's in our hands. So that is really good news for me. Those are the ones that those are the key words that I look for when it comes to the PMDG articles is when are we talking beta? Because as soon as we start talking beta, usually early or not early access, usually release is right around the corner. Next up on the 777, the PMDG 777-300ER is on its way into the NSIM marketplace. Now, it's under evaluation by the marketplace team, so this can take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. I mean, let's be real, guys, that could happen at any point. Just keep an eye out for it. Obviously, here on the channel, I will alert you guys once it is finally available, but it has been sent up to the marketplace team, so it's out of PMDG's hands at this moment. So for you Xbox users, there you guys go. That should make you guys very happy, and you guys will be ready for it. So, again, that is the 777-300ER, the one that is currently released, will be hitting the marketplace very shortly. Finally, the good news, or better news. All right, so the PMDG flagship, you guys, the queen of the skies, the Boeing 747 for Microsoft Flight Simulator is in development and actually has been since January. Now, that does not mean that this aircraft is ready and right around the corner or anything like that. We don't have any kind of release information. We just simply know that it is progressing at a good pace. So, I mean, you figure it was just over a year, just under a year that it took for the 777 to hit the market. The one thing that Robert has stated that because this is the flagship of PMDG, we should expect some unexpected and very exciting things for the Boeing 747. This aircraft, you guys, is the queen of the skies. I'm going to be completely honest. When Microsoft Flight Simulator first launched, the default 747 was extremely disappointing. Like, it was so sad. Like, you have, even with the A380 being what it is, you know, the largest of the commercial airliners in the world or aircraft in the world, it's never, in my opinion, it's never going to be as iconic as the Queen of the Skies, as the 747. The 747, there's something about it that I don't think any aircraft is ever going to maintain the image and have the history and have the reputation of the 747. So, just the fact that PMDG is making it finally, like, I'm not gonna lie, I wish it would have been their first one. I would have absolutely taken this over the 737, and that's saying something too, given how popular the 37 is. And we definitely needed a Boeing lineup in MSFS. But super excited, guys. And again, it has already been in development. It has been going at a steady pace since January. So there's already been a ton of work going on behind the scenes. And as soon as more information is released, guys, we'll definitely be alerting you here on the channel as well. The TFDI MD11 that released earlier this month, you guys, has been updated to version 1.07. Now, this has a very massive changelog, so I highly recommend you guys go over to the website or their purchase site if you guys have already owned the aircraft, so you can check out the full thing. But this was definitely due. I'm sort of glad that I waited a minute. I have finally picked up the MD11, but it did not get the initial response that I was expecting. Apparently, it was actually pretty bug-filled and pretty bug-loaded on release, and with the following patch after that. I believe this is the second patch for the MD11. Now, the changelog itself, I have taken a look at. It is extremely large. There's a ton of stuff, with 90% of it, I would say, regarding as fixed. There are a few new items, such as realistic parking brake engagement, also altimeter sync settings and functionality, and then as well as improving the startup displays, timings, and changes to the TCAs to fix some errors. So good that they're working on it. It is definitely, after looking at the changelog, I'm very confident that I'm going to enjoy the aircraft. We're going to be doing a full guide on the aircraft. Again, it's another very popular, very iconic plane, and was definitely very welcomed in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think the only big thing that was a little bit shocker, and I really don't think that TFDI had any fault in this, really, was just the number of bugs and some of the negative feedback that I saw watching channels, but it all seemed to be based around certain aspects of Sim Update 15. So I'm sort of taking that with a grain of salt and kind of wondering what happened, that maybe their initial release package wasn't, ready for it. But anyway, I digress. So this aircraft, you guys can pick it up for $69.99 for the base pack. And then if you guys want to buy the cargo or passenger variant. So how it works is they have the passenger variant and they have the cargo variant. Both aircraft are $70. If you want to buy both of them, it would be another $10 if you did not already purchase the dual package. So either version, passenger or cargo, $70, and then whatever version that you didn't buy, you can pick up later for $10 US. So again, really cool information on the MD11. It's nice that it received such a big patch. There are a ton of fixes, you guys. That's why I'm not showing the changelog. It's long, so you're definitely going to want to look at it, especially if there's something specific that you were looking to see that was resolved. Flight FX popped out some updates on two aircraft, the C750 and the P180. So looking here at the C750, also known as the Cessna Citation 10 or X, depending on what it's the 10. But these are looking really, really good. Very limited information on it at these times, you guys. It's more texture show off than anything, but let's go ahead and work through them because they look very, very nice and definitely up to the MSFS standards. So here again, this is the 750, and this thing looks cool, dude. Look at that fat belly on it. Look at that cargo hold. I'm assuming that's what it is. Either that's all fuel, but holy crap, it's a stubby little plane. But this looks absolutely gorgeous. They've done a wonderful job with this. The texturing at least looks great. I like that shot. That's a really good shot. And these are all available on the Flight FX Discord, as well as the same information that I'm providing you guys here. So again, we don't have any kind of release information or anything like that yet. But obviously, I mean, you're seeing the aircraft inside the sim. That's a really good one. The reflection PBR work seems to be right on par. Obviously, the 4K textures. You can see that without even guessing. I wish they had given us an up close to the flight deck, but you guys can see the flight deck looks like the very similar system to what we see in the Longitude. So I imagine that flight performance and flight behavior will be pretty similar to what we saw, like I said, in the Longitude. So again, pretty excited about that kind of stuff. Now let's check out the P180 here. Okay, so now taking a look at the P180, look at this crazy bag of airplane. So yeah, this is great. Oh my gosh, that is facing the wrong damn direction. It is a push turboprop check this thing out. This thing looks goofy as heck. Like, I can't get over it. Part of me likes it. I'm very intrigued. Okay, but this is like very like if the Jetsons had propellers is the way I'm looking at this one. I cannot remember what these damn things are called when they're up front like that, but they've got the nose wings, and I can't remember the word is. It's right on the tip of my tongue. But like, look at this thing. Like, I don't even know what to think. Like, part of me again is very intrigued, and then part of me is like, what in the heck am I looking at? From back here, it sort of reminds me of a Typhoon submarine. I'm not going to lie. Anyway, but as far as the texturing and the modeling, the thing looks absolutely fantastic. It's definitely got a ton of detail in it. I am still blown away by that. Now, I'm kind of curious what kind of quality, not quality, bad verbiage, what kind of fidelity to expect from either one of these aircraft when they're pushing out two planes like this simultaneously. So when you have two aircraft like that coming out, now don't get me wrong, I have no reason to assume they haven't stated anything that I've found anyway that expresses what the fidelity or, if you will, study level quality of these planes are going to be. The fact they're pushing out two aircraft, I would say, as long as the cockpits and the flight decks are, mostly, functional, I would certainly pick them up. The C750 I want just because I want it. Like, it's right up there with the Longitude. Longitude's badass. I love flying the Longitude. It's a ton of fun. This one I want just because, you have to. You have to get this one. You have to get this one just to say that you have it and you've flown it. And even if you never fly it again, like, it'll still be worth the money. Like, that's all right. I flew this crazy thing that came out of something out of ET, right? So, anyways, and then from this view though, it looks pretty dope. But I can't. My buddy described these as whiskers. Like, it literally does. It looks like whiskers. All right. This is like some hodgepodge. I feel like the designer was just having a really good time when he designed this aircraft. He's like, I'm just going to put these here and just see what happens. And they did that with literally everything on the aircraft. Even the landing gear looks goofy. It's a cool looking plane. It's a very unique looking aircraft, but everything on it looks goofy. All right. We've got the push turbo props. We've got the whiskers up front. We've got the streak line that looks like cheek marks down it. The big eyelids up here. You've got the landing gear that just, I don't know how to describe the landing gear, but it's a goofy looking plane. And this is a real thing. I looked it up. It's a real airplane. Oh, there's the flight deck right there. And just like, I'm not sure what to think. So I'm going to leave that up to you guys. Tell me which one that you guys are most excited about. Personally, for me, definitely going to pick up the 750, no matter what it is. Like, I'm going to hope that someone, bashes it and we end up enjoying the living crap out of it. So that one I'm super excited for. Again, right there with the Longitude. And then this one, just because I have to know. It's flat and simple. I have to know. I have to know what this is going to be like. But it looks actually pretty detailed when you look at it. When you look at the flight system, looks like it'd be a pretty busy aircraft. So anyway, let's see what happens. Let me know which one you guys are looking forward to. India Foxteco comes back with another update to the F-35. Now, there's some pretty serious updates to this aircraft. You guys haven't checked it out yet. We're going to review the update here on the channel. We're going to fly the aircraft, and there's a couple reasons why. So we're going to talk about that. So first off, a complete major, quote unquote, titled major rework of the navigation system, specifically also going back to the autopilot system, stating that it has been basically as close as they can modeled to the real aircraft, which I'm kind of curious. I'm curious about that verbiage because this is an extremely, well, I guess not extremely classified. It's been sold all over the world. So maybe not. Maybe. It's certainly not as hush-hush as the Raptor is. But anyway, so they're saying that the autopilot system functions just, or as darn close, basically, to the real aircraft. Flight control system has been updated. Primary flight display has been updated. They removed the Asobo effects and replaced with custom vapor effects. So that actually, they get points on that right away because the Asobo vapor effects, I'm sorry, they're not very good. They reworked the fuel and tankage or fuel system and tankage on all variants of the aircraft. TACAN and ILS VOR have now separate course lines. That's actually pretty cool, especially although I don't remember that I've ever tried TACAN. So TACAN is typically military only. So I didn't even know that TACAN was in Microsoft Flight Simulator. That kind of tripped me out. But here's the big one that I'm actually super excited for. So I have the aircraft. I'm definitely going to check it out, guys. But it's a new sound package by a team called Echo 19. And here's the thing about Echo 19. Echo 19 is very popular in DCS world. For redoing everything from flyby sounds to engine sounds, roll sounds, ground sounds. I mean, just all kinds of really cool sound packages. And the sound packages are absolutely phenomenal. And they're always aircraft specific. Well, I think he might have one environment sound for DCS. But the point is that I'm trying to make is that they are very, very, very good sound packages. Like you purchase each individual sound package as you wish, and they are very, very good, and they're very, very detailed, and the clarity on his sound packages are awesome. So, and if you guys have been watching my channel for any length of time, I attribute sound to be just as important, if not sometimes more important, to immersion than sometimes anything else. Sometimes more important to me than the visuals. The visuals are great and all, but if you don't have the sound to go with it, or if you have a sound that's really out of place, it takes you right out of the immersive experience. So the fact that Echo 19 is now involved with the sound package, I'm really excited by that. So I'm going to be checking that out. So make sure you guys watch for that in the channel. If you guys have not picked it up, the India Fox Techo F-35 is a really, really fun airplane. It's really, really good in Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's one of the better jets that are currently available. So if you guys haven't checked that out, make sure you do. So last up on the list, this is going to be sort of controversial. I'm kind of curious what you guys are going to think about this one. The mod itself is not controversial. Orbix has launched Microsoft Flight Simulator Global Trees, or excuse me, announced, not launched, announced. That is coming very soon. Quote unquote, coming soon is the quote. Microsoft Flight Simulator Global Trees HD. So here's where we start getting into the controversy of it. The controversy of it is it worth it? Scenery developers in general right now are really struggling. And guys, I want to sort of give a big shout out. I'm going to be doing a couple scenery reviews here this weekend that I'm hoping you guys will enjoy. I would not stop buying scenery. Even though Microsoft Flight Simulator has boasted a higher detail and more of the rural areas to be much more detailed and much more better quality, I will still promise that they are not going to be up to the par of hand-drawn, hand-designed airports and regional areas. You're still going to have a lot of the goofy stuff. So now we get into the controversy. This is a really beautiful add-on. This add-on right here, the trees and the environment in general look absolutely phenomenal. So let's go ahead and take a look at a couple more here.